Hello there. So you're curious about bamstime.com if you're watching this video. This is just a quick little story time with me, Mark Johnston, or Mr. Johnston, Beller Middle School's STEM teacher. And it all really started a few years ago, or a couple years ago now, where we moved into a new building. We, meaning our entire school. All of the teachers and the students started out a school year in a brand new building. And with any new construction, there can be hiccups. And we did have an issue where our bell system wasn't working properly. No big secret, it just wasn't working. And so how do you have nearly 900 people in a building all transition and go to the next class period at the same time without a bell system? And that included an announcement system. And so it was tricky. We weren't sure exactly what we were going to do. Not quite sure about the details. I don't quite remember on what date or when it happened or all this, but I had this idea for quite a while to create a schedule for myself. And I'd used other tools online. I used my own, calendar on my computer, and I just really wasn't happy with any of it. So this actually started out as a thing that I was going to use for myself for my own classes, and basically was just to set up a very, very basic website that used JavaScript and would just change the screen based on whatever time it was to show me what class period I'm in and how many minutes I have left in class. It was a good tool for me as a teacher to be able to keep an eye on how much time is remaining in class to make sure that I am utilizing the class time, to the maximum, right? And we started using it, and so we actually put it up on all the smart boards and computers and all the different teachers' classrooms. And so long as their time on their computer was accurate, then it would transition properly. So yeah, let me just show you kind of what that code looks like. Some of you may be curious. You may or may not have any kind of coding experience. If you do have coding experience, look away, because this is not my profession. It's not something that I do. And so really I just needed to get to a point to where it would work. And of course, you can look at this if you went to bamstime.com and just did looked at the page source. But here it is. Basically, it's this function called bell schedule, and pulls a date and time, and it uses that information. Now you can see here that I have something set up for 9/29/20. I was actually in the middle of messing with this. It's still not quite done, but you can see we're going to have a parent night. And so what this is right here is I have an array or a list that specifies some things like T is the time, message is what I want it to display. And then it's just got, a listing of all these different times and what the message should be during, at that time. So then I have, a couple if, else if it's the 5th day of the week, then it's a Friday. We have a different schedule on Friday. If it's the 0th day of the week or the 6th day of the week, then it's going to be the weekend. You'll notice that programming, the first day of the week is actually the 0th day. So the first day of the week is Sunday, which is 0. Saturday is 6. So you got to just, know some of that stuff in programming. But then we've got a regular bell schedule right here. So let SL schedule length equal schedule.length. So that method is going to find how many things are in that schedule, in Schedged. Okay. So in Schedge. So it's finding the length of that, and then it's setting that value to the schedule. So if there's 25 items, then SL becomes 25. For let I equal 0, this is a a for loop right here where SL, it's going to loop for as long as that list is. If the current time index is greater than or equal to sketched I, so I is whatever iteration of the loop it's in, dot T, and so it's pulling the dot T, this right here. So if the current time index is greater than or equal to whatever that thing is, then it's going to make current message equal sketch I dot MSG dot whatever the message is. So it changes current message to whatever is listed up here in message. I don't really feel like I have the time to go in depth and really explain this code, nor do I think that anybody who's watching this really wants me to do that. But basically just know that it's going through a loop. It's saying whatever time it is, it's comparing it to this number here, and then it's deciding what to do based on that. If it's appropriate, then it uses this message information and changes it to current message. And then it goes into the document, get element by ID, it looks for the message ID, and then it changes whatever's in there to whatever is contained in current message. So then you can see down here where I have just some basic HTML with some logos and stuff. You can see here where it says, here's this paragraph, we want it, the ID is message, there's nothing in there. It's going to go through and update whatever is in message with that. Anyway, then I also added this little countdown feature, the countdown feature, and then the next message, and then plus next message, just so I could show. This is a little messy. This is something I added later that's not quite, I don't really like it, but it works to be able to see two things ahead rather than just one thing ahead. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I could do probably a more lengthy tutorial on how I did this. My guess is there might be some people out there that want to do this for their own school or even just for their own class. It's not really hard. You could even do a lot of it just by copying my code. Just view the page source. There you go. You've got exactly the page source that I was just showing you here in the Atom ID. All right, guys, that's pretty much it. I just wanted to show you what BAM's time was, where it came from, and why. And if you use it and you have suggestions for something you think I should add that would be helpful, feel free to leave it in the comments. But for those of you who are just seeing this forever, this is just kind of the stuff that I like to bring to the table wherever I am, is to try and solve problems if I can using technology. And it's turned out to be something that a lot of people use. Anyway, all right, guys, thanks so much. Have a good one.